So I got this question and comment regarding session strings and the different articulations and wondering about creating runs, rides, and sweeps. You know, when I think of rides, I think of the symbol, the ride symbol on top. Ting, 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 ting. And I'm not sure what the equivalent in strings would be or what's called a ride. You'll have to enlighten me on that. But I do have a notion of runs and sweeps. And I know that most of the time I've used session strings as a pad underneath the instrument, and I said as much to my commenter, and they agreed that's what they'd used it for as well. Then I thought back on when I listened to the demos for session strings, and I knew that there were some other sounds they could get that were not just the standard with the, say, the velocity switch or the rhythm animator. But let's take a look at it. Let's look at some of those demos and let's parse out some sounds here. There we have our staccato. Okay, so that's great. I want to jump back and point out that it starts with, of course, the big drums because it's pop, and then we have some pizzicato. Short bows, tremolo. I think that's a staccato here. Portamento. Tremolo again. It's nice bass in there. Okay, right here. Okay, that was pretty cool. So it has, as we said, okay, the string section. Okay, we heard that first with the pizzicato and then an accented staccato melody. That's what all those short bow sounds are. Dun, 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 dun. That's staccato. And then pizzicato and moody portamenti. I guess that's plural of portamento. So, okay, so picking up on that once again, we'll come back to the beginning. There's that pizzicato. Forward will be staccato. Tremolo. And the portamenti comes up here. Oh, that's... This is kind of that sort of... in Spanish, they say suave, I think. That's like soft. What, soft? No, suave means soft, but, you know... Just thinking of my music group. I was part of the conductors, Spanish. We kind of move like this for certain things. That's what I'm thinking of there. Okay. Let's hear that again. Okay, we'll fast forward a bit. Okay. So those sounds are pretty easy to do once you know how to do them. Let's come back to our magical land of Reaper. This by default is down here at about 112, but I punched it up here so the velocity switch doesn't get activated and changes to accented. So smooth runs is the first thing my commenter wanted to know about. Okay. You're going to want to go for a staccato, just like they did in the beginning of that demo. Now, if that sounded uneven, that's a consequence of my hands. my fingers wanting to be tied together. I'm still working on that, but you get the point. It's a much shorter sound, much less blurry, more focused, and you can have clearer runs with the use of staccato. Another element is pizzicato. And then we had some portamenti, or singular portamento. Okay, now the portamento, the limitation seems to occur between this fifth here. And I don't know the exact reason, but my suspicion is that because of the crossover of the different sounds, there's a bit of a limitation for how those instruments can bend in that range. A good solution for that can be found if we go over to Session Strings Pro. And right now we have the entire ensemble loaded. Now you can individually turn off elements of it right here, or you can come here and go to a section. Let's pick the violas. Most people ignore the viola, but we'll have it here. Okay, well, let's pick a portamento articulation right here. Switch to it. That's better if I can press hard enough on these short travel keys. Okay, that's much better with the portamento articulation. Now, those short little stabs that you heard, scoops, or we might call them slides. Here we have slide up, slide down. So that's one way that we can create that effect. But the way that they're creating it in the recordings that we heard is by using a trick with the mod wheel. And if we take the mod wheel and we hold it down before the note, I'm going to demonstrate which is one note to begin with. It'll dip down. Hold it up before the note. Okay, now let's do that with some chords. And that can be used to great effect. Now, when you are doing these things, I highly, highly, highly recommend that you do them in separate tracks, because you can spend the one track to do this pattern, and then with your other one, you can add in the little scoop, which is like a little sweep. This is the closest thing I can think of to answer the sweep question. And when you do these on separate tracks, like we've done over here, let me zoom into this area here and minimize these so you can see it. Okay, when you do them on separate tracks, then you have the benefit of sections, which, as strings are played in sections, when you record them in sections or tracks as we have here, you can have the benefit of a more, I would say, more integral sound. So I prepared a couple demos. Let's play those real quick. So there you have it. You can put these all together in separate tracks and level up your production sound. And that way, you can have the pleasure of creating something that doesn't sound like the standard cheap MIDI. So hopefully this has helped you in your music production journey and using session strings or any other string library that has different articulations like this. I would highly recommend figuring out what sound you want to go with and then putting it together piece by piece into your one cohesive ensemble.